This is a Prussian officer's helmet. He was a reserve, and you can tell that by the cross in the front. You can see where it looks like there's been some repairs done on this. It looks like it's been restitched. Very common for the stitching to come undone.
It's really cool. It's a cool sports collectible. It's a cool book. And where was this printed? It was printed in the States?
It's actually printed in 1834 in Boston. It actually has a wonderful illustration of children playing on the Boston Common, the actual game of baseball.
A guy brings in a John Wesley Hardin business card. Yes, the same Hardin who reportedly killed more than 40 people and later reinvented himself as a lawyer. Talk about dramatic career shifts. Rick and Corey can't get over how clean the card looks. I could go to Kinko's and make this myself, Rick jokes. Suspicion instantly skyrockets. Before even considering a price, Rick decides he needs a trusted history expert to take a proper look.
Hey, what's up, man?
How you guys doing? Here to sell my John Hardin business card. Killed over 40 people in the late 1800s. After he was released from prison, he became a lawyer.
John Wesley Hardin was one of the most notorious outlaws of the Old West.
Meanwhile, Rick has his expert examine the outlaw's card, but there's an immediate problem. The card is sealed inside glass. To properly authenticate it, they'll have to break it open. The tension in the room thickens fast. Rick, trying to cover the risk, offers the seller $350 even if the fragile piece gets damaged during the process. High stakes and high nerves collide in this unusual moment where history meets uncertainty.
If it's real, I'm definitely interested. So I invited my buddy Mark down to see what he can tell me about it.
My man, Mark. How you doing?
I'm doing all right. The guys often call me down when they have an interesting historical artifact that they're just not quite sure about.
Cut to Rick and the old man checking out a ShopSmith from the 1950s. A big, clunky combo machine that's part saw, drill, lathe, and sander. Grandpa gets nostalgic, and Rick thinks it's absolute junk. The bearings are shot. The whole thing is massive, and honestly, it looks like it was dragged behind a tractor for several miles. Still, the seller wants it out of his space, and Grandpa offers $50 just to needle Rick.
So what we got is a ShopSmith, 5 machines in one.
ShopSmith came out in the late 40s. It's a saw, a drill, a lathe, and a sander. My dad believes this kind of stuff is still state of the art. That's why I brought him along.
It is. I got it at a yard sale thinking it was a drill press.
Against Rick's better judgment, the old man goes through with the $50 deal. The seller seems thrilled simply to remove the hulking contraption from his garage. "Why'd you even bring me?" Grandpa jokes as he closes the deal. Rick's frustrated eye roll says everything you need to know. It's classic father-son tension over what basically amounts to glorified scrap metal, but it's all part of their usual dynamic in the shop.
This has seen its day.
It's old, Rick, but it's all cast metal. It's not the plastic they make them out of now.
Stuff like this is the kind of thing my dad's always a sucker for.
A man walks in carrying a Gibson mandolin, hoping to flip it to pay for a family trip to Ireland. Chumlee is instantly mesmerized. The build, the label sticker, the tone, everything seems perfect to him. Conveniently not around, Chumlee starts feeling bold about taking charge. The seller wants $3,000, and suddenly Chum's confidence turns into nervous sweating as he tries to act like he knows exactly what he's doing.
Mind if I play a couple tones?
Sure.
No, I know a little bit about these. They're from the early 1930s. The thing that makes this mandolin special is that Gibson made it. Gibson mandolins are sweet.
Chumlee pushes his negotiation skills as hard as he can. He manages to talk the seller down from $3,000 to $1,500, well above his actual spending authority. Still, he's absolutely beaming, convinced he scored a major win for the shop. "Rick's gonna give me a raise," he boasts proudly, imagining hero status. But anyone who knows this show knows exactly where this is heading. Oh, chum. Reality is coming for you fast and without mercy.
Yeah, that's the one thing about these Gibsons, you know? They only use the best parts.
Right.
I see the sticker in there. Tells me that this is authentic.
Great.
Maybe we can make a deal.
Chumlee's worst nightmare arrives. The expert goes through the mandolin's construction and details piece by piece and absolutely destroys it. Fake decal, wrong materials, plastic finish, and a cheap, worthless pickguard. The final verdict? Fake as hell. Value? Maybe $100 if they're lucky. Chum's face collapses instantly, as if he just watched all his hope and confidence burst into flames and drift away in a sad little cloud of smoke.
A mandolin, huh?
I thought I'd get it all checked out by you.
Gibsons are one of the premier builders of any kind of stringed instrument. The vintage ones are some of the most high-priced collectible guitars there are.
Rick finally hears about Chumlee's mandolin disaster. "You paid $1,500 for this?" he asks. Stunned, the whole room freezes. Rick doesn't yell, which somehow feels far worse. His calm disappointment lands like a hammer. You're gonna pay me back, one way or another. Chum's expression is pure defeat. The look of someone realizing the consequences just caught up to him. It's a harsh lesson wrapped in classic pawnshop chaos.
Oh, not so good.
What's not so good?
I bought a Gibson mandolin, but it turned out not to be real.
How much did you pay for it?
$1,500.
You paid $1,500 for this?
So what does Chumlee do after losing $1,400 on a fake mandolin? He grabs a microphone and stands outside the pawn shop singing the blues to random passersby. "Please give me some money!" he wails with heartbreaking enthusiasm. It's tragic, hilarious, and honestly, a little catchy. Rick peeks outside and deadpans. "Keep playing the blues, Chumlee. You're not going anywhere until I get that $1,500. And Chum just keeps on singing his sorrow.
I need some money, I need some money. Now, please just give me some money. Oh, I need some money. No money for me. Please give me some money. Oh, I need some money. Thank you for that money.
Back inside the shop, Corey carefully cracks open the frame holding the Hardin card. And miraculously, there's no damage at all. The expert evaluates it closely and gives it an 80% chance of authenticity. That's enough for Rick, who confidently seals the deal at $350. The customer leaves thrilled, and Rick gets to enjoy a rare moment where his gamble actually works out the way he hoped.
We need to get it out of the frame to authenticate it, so my dad made a deal. If the card is real, he'll give him $350 for it, even if we destroy it. It's basically, if we break it, we own it.
Up next, a customer brings in Clint Walker's jacket from Send Me No Flowers, complete with signed photographs and a letter of authenticity. Rick is genuinely impressed but not blown away, feeling the item lands somewhere between cool and niche. The seller wants $1,800, but Rick immediately counters with a firm nope, not willing to approach that number. The negotiation begins on wobbly footing as they try to find common ground.
Clint Walker's jacket that he wore in the movie, Send Me No Flowers, with Doris Day and Rock Hudson.
He's the guy who played in Cheyenne, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it was one of the classic 1950s Western shows. It says chest 45.
After some persistent but smooth negotiating, Rick bumps his offer up to $750. The seller calls it ridiculous, insisting the jacket deserves far more. But after a moment of grumbling and quiet soul-searching, he decides to take the cash anyway. Sometimes memorabilia is a tough sell, even when it comes with signatures, letters, and cowboy-sized movie nostalgia. Rick walks away satisfied, and the seller leaves slightly bruised but richer.
That being said, he did play a big tough guy in the movie. It's in relatively good shape.
And also, here's a letter from him stating where he wore it.
It was worn in Send Me No.
Sword time. A seller presents a model 1860 Civil War officer's sword, allegedly belonging to Colonel Bassett. The seller pronounces Bassett. He claims this blade saw 22 battles and wants a kitchen funding $20,000. Rick's eyebrows hit cruising altitude. Family first, money second, depending on who you ask, but today, history's about to run a gauntlet. You can cut this tension with a, well, you know.
Hey, how can I help you?
Good afternoon.
A cavalry sword.
Civil War officer's sword, model 1860. Belonged to Colonel Bassett.
This is pretty cool.
Rick zooms in on those nicks along the blade. He's adamant Civil War combat was rifles and bayonets, not Errol Flynn's swordplay. Kid dings, he says, and the seller bristles. The claim that it broke in battle lands with a thud. Can you believe this drama? Rick doesn't dismiss the officer, just the story and condition. He pauses the deal and gears up for an expert check.
What's his name again?
Bassett.
Okay. Do you know much about this?
Colonel Bassett came into the Civil War as a captain into the 17th.
Decision time. Rick suggests bringing in an expert. The seller welcomes it. He loves the history and wants the facts. This is the classic Pawn Stars two-step. Big claim, bigger scrutiny. No offer yet, just a cliffhanger and a promise to revisit once a specialist weighs in. Talk about a twist waiting to happen.
To a general. I've never heard of him.
No, but they should have made a movie about this guy.
I mean, this is my big problem. You see these right here?
Oh, yes.
Those dings in it, okay? Those are sword fighting. Sword fighting didn't happen in the Civil War.
Pivot to curiosities. A seller opens an 1890s Humphreys homeopathic veterinary medicine box. Bottles for eruptions, worms, hair loss, you name it. Rick's fascinated and horrified. Homeopathic for animals? only in the 1890s. The kit's tidy, labeled, and weirdly charming. Drama? Not yet. But the price conversation's about to inject some adrenaline into this snake oil saga.
Whoa, that's different. Humphreys, veterinary
Specific.
for the cure of horses, cattle, sheep, hogs, dogs, and poultry.
Rick explains the pre-FDA free-for-all. Toss ingredients and alcohol so they keep, promise the moon. Seller wants $650. Rick counters $400. Limited market, niche buyer. She nudges to $575. Rick stonewalls. Finally, $450. Take it or leave it. She takes it. Seriously, look at that reaction. Half relief, half, did I just sell cow cures? Deal sealed.
Veterinary kit. The weird thing is it's homeopathic for animals. I mean, it was pretty common, especially back then, to just basically...
Enter a 1936 Berlin Olympic pin with a poker night origin. The seller from Arkansas says a drunk German nicknamed Goose traded it to square a debt. Rick instantly frames the history. Hitler's propaganda Olympics, massive global tension. The pin's cool, but tourist pins weren't exactly scarce. Still, the story, priceless chaos.
What do we have there?
We got a 1936 Olympic pin from Berlin, Germany.
Where in the world did you find this?
Well, 2 or 3 years ago, I was playing...
Numbers time. The seller wants $300. Rick offers $75. Gift shop reality check. They joust, but not for long. Rick bumps it to a clean $100, matching the long-owed poker, $100. Seller accepts. 3 years to collect from Goose, 30 seconds to spend it in Vegas. Expectations versus reality in enamel.
Hitler wanted to show the world that he had the master race and the greatest economy and all this other stuff, and all he really did was show the world he was an ass. But the people in Berlin sort of liked it.
Okay.
Chumlee lights up. A seller rolls in 2 vintage tin robots, Mark's Colonel Haphazard, 1965, with the box, and Roscoe the Astronaut, 1962. They look unplayed with, crisp, space-age swagger intact. The ask? $5,000 for the pair. Chum's grin says, want. His wallet says, call a grown-up.
All right, what do you have here? Let's see, I got a Colonel Haphazard, 1965, with the box. It's in really good shape. And,
Chum riffs on 60s space fever, NASA logos, moon mania, astronaut dreams, then wisely phones a friend. If the seller really wants that kind of money, an expert needs to bless it. Stakes set, robots parked, and everyone's waiting for the verdict that could launch this deal into orbit.
all right, this is pretty cool. The Marx Company has been around since 1919, and they were known for making tin toys, plastic toy soldiers, toy sets.
Expert arrival. Johnny, the tin toy whisperer. He checks paint, parts, completeness, fires them up, lights blinking like mission control. Everything's authentic. Colonel Haphazard with original box screams collectible. Roscoe's rarer too. Chum's basically vibrating. Drama overload. This could be a winner if the numbers make sense.
Oh, you're familiar with them?
Yeah, dude, it's a classic Marx toy. I mean, you don't get any cooler than these. You mind if I take a closer look at these?
No, go ahead.
Minor little blemishes on this one here, but...
Johnny estimates approximately $1,500 for Colonel Haphazard and $1,700 to $1,800 for Roscoe, about $3,200 for the pair. That's solid, but short of the moonshot ask. The seller looks confident. Chum's calculator brain is whirring. Can they bridge this cosmic gap, or are we aborting this mission?
So cool, man. I love these.
Okay. Well, what do you think about the value of these?
For Colonel Haphazard, I mean, his condition is tremendous.
Negotiation burn. Seller wants $4,000. Chum opens at $1,900. Counter orbits, tension rising. Chum pushes to $2,200. A clean, fair shot based on the expert. The seller stands firm. Seriously, look at that face. Determined collector energy. No deal. Chum powers down, dignity intact, rockets holstered.
I need $4,000 for the pair.
It's not gonna happen. I mean, I see the value in them, but I can't pay that much for them. Would you take $1,900?
Man, I can't. They're both really nice. $2,000.
A seller brings a Dutch Royal Zellberg-style milk glass oil lamp, kerosene-era vibes, and asks $1,300. It's pretty, Victorian gaudy in the best way, and absolutely showroom ready, until Rick starts his forensic lamp routine. You can feel the mood wobble.
Yes. It's a milk glass oil lamp made by the Dutch company Royal Zanzara.
Okay.
Rick spots a drop and a bad repair. Ugly solder misfit component, not factory. The dream price evaporates. He passes politely. The seller takes it on the chin, disappointed but composed, and decides it'll stay home as decor. Expectations versus reality, lamp edition.
Your milk glass up top.
The original shade, the original flume, and then we have the original porcelain oil lamp base.
Back to the sword. Rick's Civil War expert arrives to examine the alleged Colonel Bassett blade. He notes how many officers fall off the radar. Big names get the glory, others fade. The engraving listing battles? Interesting. This might be a presentation sword, not a battlefield beater.
That he says belonged to a general in the Civil War, General Bassett. The problem, I don't know if it was used in battle.
The expert explains, officers didn't engrave their own swords. Gifts marked milestones. With Bassett promoted to colonel in May 1863 and Gettysburg in July 1863, an inscription that ends at Gettysburg fits the timeline for a presentation piece. Authentic? Yes. Condition? That's the heartbreak.
He was well enough thought of as a commander.
Okay.
I'm curious, what is your concern about it? It is obviously a Civil War sword.
The broken in battle claim doesn't pass the physics test. A true strike would show bending, not a clean snap, and a wartime break of that drama would likely be recorded. So, original Civil War presentation sword, in terrible condition. Value takes a serious hit. Talk about a twist.
Everything fits, everything's right, and this is an absolutely original Civil War presentation sword.
Numbers land with a thud. If it were beautiful, I'd offer $10,000, Rick says. But in this shape, $2,500. The seller declines, too far apart. Seriously, watch that reaction. Hope deflating in real time. Great history, rough reality, no deal.
You're the best, man.
Good to see you. Very good to meet you. Thank you. Unfortunately, the sword is in terrible condition because if it was in
Coda of pure Pawn Stars mischief, Chumlee reads the vet kit labels to help Rick. Worms, indigestion, and a little bottle for Saturday night weakness. The old man deadpans, well, Rick, you're an ass. It might work for you. Rick begs for aspirin for humans. Cue laughter, fade to black. Perfect chaos.
Put it on the shelf for sale.
Where at?
Where it's supposed to go. Have a headache, chum. I don't want to deal with you right now.
Well, maybe there's something in here that could help you. This one's for worms. You could probably use that.
Rick's buddy Adam presents the book like it's the holy grail of sports collectibles. Printed back in 1834 in Boston, complete with an illustration of kids playing baseball before the Civil War even started. It's pure history, but Rick's no pushover. He wants to verify before dropping thousands. Let's get Jeremy in here, he says, because even early baseball needs expert backup.
I'm not going to throw you a curve with this one.
Okay.
I brought you the first printed book with American baseball rules. I can promise you it's not a price out of the ballpark.
Stick with books, stay away from comedy, dude.
Back to the baseball book. Jeremy, the sports memorabilia expert, arrives, and his face lights up like a kid in Cooperstown. This is the book, he says. It's one of the earliest printed references to baseball, even describing how early players ran the wrong direction around the bases. Who knew baseball once looked like dodgeball?
That he says is the very first book with the rules of baseball. But this one's tricky. I got to figure out what this thing is. So I called in my buddy Jim. You know, I mean, I just don't know anything about it. I've never even heard of the book.
Next up, a man brings in a Civil War drum, and the backstory hits hard. Passed down from his antique dealer dad, it's said to be the real deal from the battlefield. Chumlee's fascinated while Rick inspects the drum like Sherlock Holmes with a snare. Repairs are obvious, and some parts look newer than they should. Rick calls in a historian for backup, because when Civil War claims show up, you verify every beat.
You came in a while ago with like a Star Wars script or something, right?
That's right, absolutely.
Okay, and we got a drum.
It's a Civil War drum you just can't beat.
No, you could.
Okay, yeah, it's definitely cool, man. The way it was, when you were out on the battlefield, they would have a different drum beat for different commands.
The historian arrives and instantly drops a bombshell. I don't think this is Civil War. More like 1870s or 1880s. Talk about a gut punch. Turns out it's a parade drum, not a battlefield relic. Still 19th century, still collectible, just not war grade. The seller's disappointed, but hey, that's the sound of history playing a different tune.
Believe it or not, I am not an expert on Civil War era drums, so I called in someone who is. So this is the drum I called you about.
Oh, very nice.
He claims it's from the Civil War.
All right, you know, the youngest.
Negotiation time. The seller was dreaming of $12,000, but after hearing it's post-war, Rick fires back at $500. You could feel the man's soul leave his body. He pleads his case. It's still Americana! They haggle fiercely, finally landing at $950. A far cry from 12 grand, but at least he can still hear the sweet sound of profit.
See, I told you he's smart.
Very smart, nice guy.
All right, so how much do you want for it now?
Well, you know, he did say it was possible it was used in the Civil War, and
It's possible I could graduate from Harvard.
A new seller walks in with something you don't see every day, a cast iron ice shaver from the 1930s or 40s. The guy says it's from Japan and used for making halo halo, a Filipino dessert. He even jokes that the rust alone could earn him a tetanus shot. Talk about a frosty find.
So where'd you get it?
From a garage sale.
Yeah, I used to go to garage sales. Now I care. So do you know how old it is?
I don't actually. I found one similar online. It was
Corey gives the full demo. You slam a block of ice in, crank it down, and out comes shaved ice ready for snow cones. Simple, vintage, and weirdly charming. The seller wants $900, dreaming of selling it for plane tickets to visit his son. Corey keeps it real. I'll give you $300. After a short, cold haggle, they meet at $350. It's a sweet deal, literally.
So, I mean, take something like this, probably cost a penny to make it. And it was a cheap thrill for a kid, for a parent to be able to buy something like that. You know, the same reason people do it today.
Jeremy calls it one of the most important baseball books ever printed and pegs it as super rare. But for pricing, he tells Rick to bring in a book specialist. You'll need Rebecca for this one. Now that's when you know it's serious, when even the expert calls another expert. Rick nods. Rebecca's on the way.
The rules that are within this book are so different, from the rules played today. I mean, to record an out, you could essentially throw the ball at the guy and it's an out.
So it was baseball/dodgeball?
Switching gears, Chumlee meets a guy selling a 1932 Bridgewater's corkscrew, nicknamed the King Daddy of all openers. It's literally a corkscrew inside a coffin-shaped box made to celebrate the end of Prohibition. How perfectly twisted is that? The seller's asking $1,100, and Chumlee's already chuckling about popping bottles back in the day.
I have a Bridgewater's corkscrew produced in 1932. Comes in a coffin. This is more or less the King Daddy of all corkscrews and bottle openers.
All right. I guess even back in the day, they were popping bottles.
Chumlee dives into the backstory. Prohibition turned America into a bootlegging frenzy, and this corkscrew's creator made sure to immortalize the chaos. It's rare, historic, and weirdly hilarious. But $1,100? No chance. Chumlee starts at $150, and after some back-and-forth volleys, they seal it at $325. The seller's thrilled, bought it for $125 years ago, and now it's paying for his next round.
$1,100, huh?
And again, condition is everything in this kind of a market.
It is, but I just don't see it bringing nowhere near that.
Where are you at then?
Man, I'm looking at like $150.
The nostalgia continues when a customer walks in holding a 1970s Nash skateboard. He says it's a childhood memory, and he's asking $150. Corey instantly spots the issue. The wheels aren't original. These old boards used to send riders flying after one pebble. The guy laughs, admitting it's not exactly Tony Hawk material.
1970s Nash skateboard.
All right, where in the world did you get this?
Overland Park, Kansas, of all places. Not really a skateboard mecca.
Corey breaks it down. Nash was big in the 70s, but without original wheels, the collector value tanks. He offers $20, straight-faced. The seller smiles, politely declines, and says he'll let his grandkids ride it instead. Honestly, wholesome ending, even if the profit rolled away faster than the board itself.
I know you gotta make money. I wanna make a little money, so I would think $150 would be a fair price.
Problem is if it's a $150 collectible, it better all be it.
Rebecca finally arrives to appraise the baseball book, and her verdict is golden. A landmark piece, she says. It unites all the early elements of baseball. The condition? Great. She estimates $7,500 to $8,500 in retail. Rick's eyes widen. Time for the pitch. He offers $3,500. The seller fires back with $4,500. Rick finally swings and lands it at $4,000. Grand slam deal.
I just got the first book that describes the rules of baseball. Jeremy says it's the real deal, but I still don't know what it's worth. So I've called Rebecca down to the shop. If anybody knows.
The seller's ecstatic, the book's headed to a new home, and Rick jokes, slide into home with it. Rebecca cringes. Stop, dude, please. The shop bursts into laughter. Another day, another priceless artifact. and a few groan-worthy puns to end it on brand.
I think it's completely justified to say $7,500 to $8,500.
Oh, okay. Cool. All right, cool. You're the best.
Happy to help.
We open with a guy walking in carrying 2 old German helmets, one leather, one felt. Rick immediately launches into a mini history lecture. Germany ran out of materials during WWI, so they literally downgraded from leather to felt. That's how bad things got. Rick's geeking out, but you can tell he doesn't want to drop cash without a second opinion. Smart man.
I have no idea.
Okay, these are German helmets.
What are the spikes for?
Oh, they put the helmets on their head, they'd bend over and run into people. That's how they fought wars. I'm kidding. You can tell this helmet is from early World War I because it's made out of leather.
When military expert Paul shows up, he starts tossing out German words like Pickelhaube, like he's hosting History Channel Live. One helmet's enlisted, one's an officer's, both are in surprisingly good shape. Paul values the set at up to $2,200 total. The seller wants $2,000. Rick offers $800. Tension spikes. Eventually, they meet at $1,050. Seller's heading straight to the blackjack table. I mean, priorities.
Looks like the hat the monkey wears when he rides a little tricycle around the circus.
For thousands of years, militaries spent lots of time raiding, marching, and doing things for show.
Then we get a strange piece of history, a World War II blood chit. Basically, a silk patch promising a cash reward to anyone helping downed American pilots. It's got 9 languages printed on it, and Rick confirms it's real. Problem is, they made tons of these, so the rarity isn't there. Seller wants a couple $100. Rick starts at $40. Oof.
They belonged to my father. He was in World War II. They issued it to the air crews in case they had to ditch in enemy territory.
Yeah, blood shit.
Did you say bull?
No.
The seller counters at $150, but Rick sticks to his guns. They finally meet at $75. And honestly, for a stitched-up silk promise from the 1940s, that's not bad. Rick even notes that it's already framed, saving him extra effort, so it's an easy flip. One man's emergency parachute patch is another man's payday.
It offered a reward for anyone who helped him out. There's documented cases where these things helped save American lives. It's definitely not fake. I mean, this is the real deal here. It's silk. It's from World War II. The reason they were silk was they were fire retardants. You could get them wet and they would still be printed. A lot of guys actually sewed these onto the back of their jackets.
Next up, the doors practically burst open with nostalgia. A collector walks in with a jaw-dropping Matchbox car collection. Nearly 1,000 cars, most in original boxes. Rick's mind is blown. The guy wants to pawn them for $20,000. Yes, a pawn loan, not a sale. Rick's understandably nervous, so he calls in Johnny, the toy expert.
Here I've got King and Queen coronation coaches. There was only 200 ever made in 1953. That will go for between $250.
I gotta admit, it's in great shape and it's got the original box, which is amazing. So what do you want to do with these?
I'm hoping to pawn them.
Okay, how much were you looking to get?
I'm hoping to get $20,000.
Johnny dives in and confirms it. This is the real deal. Original coronation coaches, gray-wheeled tankers, king-sized pieces, some individual cars worth over $1,500. Johnny estimates the whole collection at $25,000 to $28,000. But the owner, he thinks it's worth $75,000. Classic pawn standoff incoming.
What's going on?
This guy wants to pawn all of his Matchbox stuff. He's got like thousands of cars and pieces here, so I was hoping you could maybe go through it for me.
Yeah, no problem, man. The Matchbox came out in the late 40s.
Rick, surprisingly, offers the full $20,000 as a loan, but not before warning the guy like a dad giving life advice. Think carefully. This is a big loan. If you don't pay it back, these cars are mine. The guy shrugs. He needs the cash. Deal. Talk about rolling the dice with tiny metal wheels.
With loans like this, you gotta make sure you're crystal clear and completely fair, even if that means dishing out advice. Last thing you want is some guy claiming you weren't upfront.
You gotta understand, man, my typical loan is $100.
Then, just when you think the episode can't get any more random, vintage Japanese arcade machines show up. Chumlee's instantly obsessed. There's Dig Dug, Super Dodgeball, Yi Ar Kung Fu, the holy trinity of button-mashing nostalgia. The seller wants $1,500 each. Chum's face says, "No way," before he even speaks.
I used to get my name at least on the top 5. That way it was like chum, 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 chum. Like a chick magnet. Girls would go right after you.
That's why I get all of them these days.
So what can you tell me about these?
This one is Dig Dug, made by Atari in 1982.
Negotiations get choppy fast. Chum offers $400 for all 3. The seller's eyes practically roll out of his head. They bounce numbers like they're in a pinball machine. Eventually, Chum ups it to $600 for all 3, and the seller grudgingly agrees. Lesson learned: never accept arcade cabinets as payment for freelance work.
I wouldn't even give you $1,500 for all three. There's not that many people that actually collect them. I'd give you like $400 for all three of them.
Yeah, that's way out of the ballpark.
A woman walks in claiming she has an Elvis Presley necklace. Not just any necklace. One Elvis himself placed around her neck. Rick's skeptical until she pulls out photos, letters, and documentation. It's real, and it's over a pound of solid 14-karat gold.
Well, I kind of have a unique item. A necklace that was given to me by Elvis when I was a teenager.
Seriously? Wow, that's amazing.
She wants $250,000. Rick practically laughs in disbelief. He acknowledges the gold value, around $13,000, but says selling it for Elvis value is nearly impossible. It's niche. He lowballs hard, offering just $20,000. Her face? Pure shock. Like he just insulted Elvis himself.
People just aren't shelling out the big bucks. So I don't think this woman is gonna like my offer. Our prices are so far apart. A number that makes me feel safe is 20 grand.
God, I didn't even expect that.
I just sold 4 Andy Warhols.
She says she was offered $400,000 in the past, but didn't take it. Rick explains that niche memorabilia like this doesn't have guaranteed buyers, even if it belonged to the king. She holds strong. Rick can't do better. The deal dies right there. It's a heartbreaker, but it makes for excellent TV.
There's nothing I can do for you.
I understand.
Thanks for bringing it in, though. I really appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
When he said $20,000, I thought he was teasing me because it seemed like just so far out of the ballpark. If Elvis were here right now, he would hug me and say, "Baby, there's always tomorrow."